それでは日 ASEAN 経済競争フォーラムを再開いたし
So
ます。
now we would like to resume ASEAN-Japan Economic Co-Creation Forum. Next session is Circular Economy. AREA will report on their study on circular value chains of electrical and electronic equipment in ASEAN, followed by panel discussion amongst public and private sector representatives on specific initiatives regarding circular economy in ASEAN and Japan. First of all, we have from AREA, Director of Policy Research, Mr. Iwasaki Fusanori. Mr. Iwasaki, if you're ready.
Thank you very much for the introduction. My name is Fusanori Iwasaki. I'm Director for Policy Research of the Economic Research Institute for ASEAN and East Asia area in Jakarta. Yes, some of the audience is now taking a coffee, but due to the limited time, so I'd like to start my presentation very soon. So again, thank you very much for joining. And I'm very honored to take this opportunity to present our recent study on circular value chain, which is a response to the request of the economic ministers of the ASEAN and Japan for the establishing ASEAN-Japan Circular Economy Initiative. Next slide, please. Sorry. I need to control by myself. Okay. Before going into the detail, I'd like to touch upon the concept of circular value chain first. In principle, the circular economy maintains a circular flow of resources and recover, retain, and add value of these resources as much as possible. When you look at this figure, circular value chain can be explained by 5 key elements. First is to create add value with design and technologies from the upstream of value chain. Second is retaining value through efficient use by each consumer. Third is reconvening the values of used product through reuse, recycle, and remanufacturing. Fourth is maintaining circulation for rebuilding lost value. And the fifth is comprehensive support for expanding and transitioning to circular businesses. So, firstly, the study identified the gaps of circular value chain compared with ASEAN and Japan. There remains 5 gaps we identified. The first, not well-managed, reused activities. Second, low presence of formal collectors and recyclers. Third, e-waste commonly ends up with municipal waste. Fourth, low capacity of metal scrap recycle. And fifth, lack of remanufacturing activities. So to tackle these gaps, we need certification for compliant and quality-assured reuse shops and traceability for reused product. Establish collection system from households, enhance capacities of used electrical and electronic equipments and e-waste treatment, and regulate unlicensed collectors and recyclers to prevent risk of environment pollution and health damage. Establish infrastructure for e-waste from households and enhance consumer awareness of proper e-waste disposal. Enhance domestic capabilities and collaborate with countries capable of smelting metals. And finally, establish efficient collection and take-back system linked to manufacturer and develop remanufacturing capacities. Due to fulfill these gaps, it is better to check the legal system and standard first. Nowadays, the system of the European Union and Japan are enforcing very comprehensively. However, we need to remember that they also struggle for the development of waste management in the period of rapid economic development in 1960s or 1970s. In the case of Japan, the features are established mechanism to monitor and penalize improper disposal and mandatory collection and recycling of e-waste and end-of-life vehicles in accordance with Extended Producer Responsibility, or EPR. In the case of the European Union, they put circular economy as its economic growth and impose strong obligation on the private sector at every stage of the value chain. However, contrary to them, although ASEAN countries have developed legal system, even in countries where regulations for proper waste management, the informal sector often plays a significant role in processing e-waste. Therefore, collaborative mechanism to support legal system between ASEAN and Japan and enhancement of legal systems for resource circulation, especially e-waste management, are significant. Through establishing the polluter-paid principle, extended producer responsibilities, detailed standards and penalties, and addressing shortage of administrative manpowers. Okay. And then next, we look at the international rules. ASEAN is struggling to regulate the illegal import increase, recently inconsistent with Basel Convention. The challenges are how to promote proper e-waste, trade management, and smooth trade of permitted used electrical and electronic equipment and e-waste by establishing common understandings and reliable standards between ASEAN and Japan. Let me show you the excellent business cases where they can fulfill 5 gaps and provide function which lacks in ASEAN countries. So this is the excellent cases. So let me introduce a little bit. First, Fujifilm, for example, provides unique remanufacturing technologies and standards for distinguishing parts. The second slide, Dowa, JX Metal, and Mitsubishi Materials, and Jarring Metal provides the e-waste recycling and smelting technologies. And the third one, Wong Panit and Cambodia EcoBat Energy provides a recycling and collection system in their countries through the collaboration with various actors, including the informal waste collectors. So when you look at each country's efforts next, through the COVID-19 pandemics, the ASEAN countries started to develop specific circular economy strategies. In particular, the ASEAN frameworks for the circular economy for the ASEAN Economic Community in 2021, which was the strong initiative by His Excellency Dr. Lim Jok-hoi, who presented at the previous session. Those strategies and plans commonly aim to achieve both economic impacts and environment impacts, and describe various approaches through the close collaboration of the Bureau of the Economic Policies and the Bureau of the Environment Policies. Ladies and gentlemen, let me summarize. Japan should share its experience and best practices in establishing and enforcing effective legal systems and supply chain for recoverable e-waste in ASEAN countries by conducting workshops, symposia, and any other occasions, including the capacity buildings, while providing opportunity to learn about trade facilitation matters in used electrical and electronic equipments and remanufacturing goods. Second, fostering ASEAN and Japan business collaboration through such a technical cooperation, establishment of joint ventures, and international resource circulation, especially fostering on e-waste recycling. And the third one is in closer alignment with international rules and standards and advanced trade openness between ASEAN and Japan by fostering the market and establishing common understanding and reliable standards for used electrical and electronic equipments and recoverable e-waste materials as well as remanufacturing. Thank you very much, and please visit our website to find in detail. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to the further discussion later. Thank you.
岩崎様、ありがとうございました。
Iwasaki-san, thank you very much.
続きまして、
Next, we would like to move on to the panel discussion. I would now like to welcome the panelists and the moderator onto the stage. The moderator for the session is from METI, Deputy Director General Environmental Bureau, Mr. Isuru Kobayashi. Panelists, again from METI, Director for International Resource Circulation, Mr. Hideki Kamitatara. From Mitsubishi Materials Corporation, General Manager, Resource Circulation Division and Metals Company, we have Mr. Tatsuya
Deputy
Inoue.
General Manager of Hidaka Yoko Enterprises, Hishiyama Takahiko様, and Executive Director of Jarring Metal Industry, ASEAN-BHD, Dr. Nigel Woon. 以上の皆様です。それではここからの進行は小林様にお願いしたい
So
と
now
思
I'd
いま
like
す。
to hand the baton over to the moderator, Mr. Kobayashi.
So thank you very much for the very kind introduction. And today we are going to discuss about the recycling and the cooperation between the ASEAN and Japan. And before start, I just would like to mention one thing. The recycling has been considered as the part of the environmental policy. From that viewpoint, we basically have to minimize the waste for the landfill. And also, we have to minimize the leak of toxic materials to the environment. And that aspect of the recycle is still very, very important and still challenging for several countries. However, in these days, we have additional issue, which is actually the economic security. We cannot we no longer can think that the free trade is a prerequisite. So if we need to rely on specific materials, we sometimes call them critical minerals or any type of materials if there are, we need to think how we are able to stabilize the sourcing of such materials. And from that viewpoint, recycle is also quite important. And when we think about that type of recycling, we need to be more creative than just minimizing the waste and minimizing the toxic materials leakage. So today we have the excellent four panelists from the government and also the private sectors, not only from Japan, but also from the Malaysia. And the I would like to ask them first to provide their activities And then we would like to ask a question to them, basically about their views on the future recycling business in ASEAN, and also how Japan is able to support the development of these businesses in ASEAN, and then we'd like to wrap up. So first, I'd like to ask Kamitatara-san to provide a presentation on his activities. So Kamitatara-san, please.
Thank you. My name is Hideki Kamitatara. I'm in charge of the International Resource Circulation METI. So I'd like to explain the recent circular economy activities with ASEAN countries. First, the ASEAN Economic Ministry and METI consultation was held this summer, co-chaired by the Ministry of Trade Indonesia and METI Japan. The meeting welcomed the development ASEAN-Japan circular economy initiative and the study on the circular value chain of electrical and electronic equipment in ASEAN conducted by the area, as Mr. Iwasaki mentioned just our session. And then next slide. Through cross cooperation between ASEAN and Japan, we promote the circular economy transition in a more holistic way. And e-waste recycling would be the pilot project in ASEAN and Japan. And then Japan would like to support capacity building for government and private sectors in ASEAN countries by providing abundant knowledge, experience, and advanced technology for the proper disposal of e-waste and the establishment of appropriate collection routes. At the moment, Japanese government is trying to, or has been conducting some of the capacity building projects in collaboration with some of the ASEAN countries and Japanese stakeholders, such as smelters, refineries, and e-waste recyclers. And one of the capacity projects is technical cooperation in manual dismantling and sorting method by dispatching Japanese technicians to ASEAN countries. Yeah, thank you for your thank you for attention. Thank you.
Well, Kamitatara-san, thank you very much for explaining the Japan's cooperation in the circular economy with ASEAN as a whole. And then now I would like to ask Inoue-san to provide the presentation.
Thank you, Kobayashi-san. I'm Inoue from Mitsubishi Material, and I'm in charge of metal business and recycling business as a whole in Mitsubishi Material. And just for your understanding reference, I'd like to briefly explain who we are, who MMC, Mitsubishi Material is, and particularly pointing out on the metal recycling business and so on. Please have a look. This is the key numbers, briefly explaining our the size of a company. We started the business more than 150 years ago, mainly in the mining business, in domestic mine business in Japan. And please look at some numbers to show our scale of our business. And as you can see, our main business is focusing on metals, metal manufacturing, smelting, and fabrication. And recently, we are focusing on the renewable energy business, such as geothermal business, etc. And I'm sorry, everything on this sheet, everything is written in Japanese. And Mitsubishi Material have some business point in Japan, such as metal smelting and refinery facilities. And also, we have several home appliances recycling factories, 6 or 7 factories in Japan. And these are run by Mitsubishi Material and jointly with some home appliances manufacturers, such as Panasonic or Sharp, whatever. And let's have a look at in the metal smelting refining business. This shows our Mitsubishi Materials business point in Japan. These are the copper or lead or tin or other metals smelter and refinery located in Japan. And also we have the E-scrap sampling facility in Netherlands. Why we have this kind of facility is that we have been focusing on collecting the so-called E-scrap material globally. Recently, we process more than 100,000 tons per year. And let's have a look at the recent story, collaborating in Malaysia. Please look at the right-hand side structure. We are trying to explore the business, metal recycling, circular value chain, and we are now trying to provide some experiences and technologies to recycle the home appliances. That's it.
Well, thank you very
much for listening.
Sorry. Well, thank you very much, Inoue-san, for the explanation about the operation of Mitsubishi Material, and also how you see the potential of their cooperation between the Japan and ASEAN through utilizing the Japanese facility maybe in the future. And also now I would like to ask the Hiyama-san of Hidaka Yoko to provide his presentation.
Thank you, Kobayashi-san. My name is Hishiyama. I work for Hidaka Yoko Enterprise. Our company is a Thai company. Let's introduce my company before. Our company name is Hidaka Yoko Enterprise. Foundation is 1928. We run business 25 years already in Thailand. So our company is a local company. It's not Japanese companies. Then our main customer is automotive companies, and then our collecting scraps going to domestic and the overseas brass furnace and electronic furnace as well. Now our volume is nearly 727 tons yearly. Then mainly these scraps are sold in Thailand. Then our factories located in 7 factories in Thailand, nearby Bangkok area, 200 kilometers, within 200 kilometers now. Also, we have Myanmar branches that is collecting scraps in Myanmar as well. Yes, this is our Hidaka Group design. Then we have mission, vision, value. Then also, by the end of 2028, our company reached to 100 years anniversary. So we will become a #1 global recycling company in Asia region. So that is our goal, but also continuing try to expand the new business as well. So let's introduce that later. Yes, this is our purpose of we recycling demonstration. Our background of this initiative. In Thailand, the amount of electronic scrap rise and the standard of living improves in economic growth. On the other hand, law-related or collection or disposal waste have not kept up with development. And problems such as health damage to workers and water and soil pollution caused by inferior waste disposal have become issues. So we recognize the issues, must we have a law, must we have technologies, also international resource circulation. Yes, then this demonstration is under NATO organization. Then this demonstration from 1920 until 2022, this demonstration already finished. Then we recommended to Thai government what we have to do separation or law regulation or collecting system through this demonstration. Then this is a flow chart. We scrap is the photos like washing machines or TV or refrigerators. Then we collecting, then need the pre-sorting before shredding. We scrap have contained batteries or glass or from gas, so we remove them, then primary shredded, then secondary shredded. Then after the separation, metals go into Thailand and in Japan. Some items cannot recycle in Thailand due to low technology recycling method. Then Japan have high technology of recycling methods. Then both countries enjoy and also continue to doing the recycling business. Yes, that's all. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Hiyama-san, for the excellent presentation focusing on the electric appliance waste. And finally, I would like to ask the Dato Nigel Ngu, Executive Director of Jarring Metal, which is the Malaysian company, to provide his presentation.
Good morning. My name is Nigel. I'm from Jarring Metal Industry, Malaysia. We are a leading full recovery plant recycling in Malaysia. Regarding e-waste recycling in Malaysia, let me simplify into two categories. We divided into two categories. First category, e-waste is from manufacturing, industrial. And then second category, e-waste are those from consumer segment. Those are electrical appliances such as TV, fridge, and computer, and mobile phone. Okay. In Malaysia, e-waste is strictly regulated and governed by Department of Environment Malaysia. And our e-waste code name is Schedule Waste 110 in Malaysia. Okay. Company in Malaysia required to obtain special license from a Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources to do recycling. Okay. The regulation is based on starting from generation of e-waste from manufacture until the final disposal from recycling process. Okay. We, Jarring Metal, have been operating for 26 years, mainly on e-waste first category. Okay. As for the second category on the consumer e-waste, our Malaysian government is in the process of drafting a new regulation framework. Hopefully will be starting by next year. And Jarring Metal recently received invitation to join National Task Force team which is responsible in formulating new legislation. Okay. And this year we successfully implement a pilot project with JICA and Environment Department focusing on household e-waste. Okay. Currently we are active in discussion with interested Japanese company to explore potential collaboration to become key player in the consumer e-waste. Okay. Thank you very much. That's all from me.
Thank you very much, Dato, for explaining the situation of Malaysia about how they developed the regulation, new regulation on the e-waste from the consumers. Now, I would like to move to the next session, which is basically I'll ask a question to respective the panelists to provide some views, especially about the future of the recycling business of ASEAN and potential cooperation between ASEAN and Japan. And I would like to start again from the Inoue-san. And I saw your presentation very, very interesting because you actually gave us a very good view on how the Mitsubishi Material has the potential of the developing the recycling business, sourcing the lots of materials from all over the world, and perhaps ASEAN has the good potential to provide the some materials for the Mitsubishi Materials to do the recycling. And from your view, what do you see? How do you see the future of the ASEAN-Japan cooperation from the business side to develop a very efficient and effective recycling business? And what could be the challenges and what could be the opportunities?
Thank you, Chris. Before talking about the relationship between Japan and ASEAN, I have to touch on the story of history for the last decade, a few decades. We have been focusing on the so-called advanced country areas such as EU or North America to correct the so-called East Club, where you can see there are many and rigid regulations to, in some meaning, to force the people the recycled material which were used and spent out. And that's why the recycling market has been growing in those areas. So I think this means that the critical essential factor is how the government will put the regulation to proceed the society to pay attention more to the recyclers and recycle. Before that, do not rubbish here and there and recycle, and society will follow. If those processes shall be successfully well done, and then we have the view that ASEAN area have the huge potential to create the recycling business, whereas the private companies like us will have a feasible view to participate. So the key factor is each country's government, whether these government will have the policy to put some regulation or act or law to change the society.
Well, thank you very much. That's a very important point. Yeah, well, if there is no social discipline to really support the recycling business, it's actually very difficult to implement that business. And the government regulation is quite important, and also creating a social discipline is actually even more challenging, and perhaps that's something which we really need to think in our mind.
Yeah, for that purpose, we Mitsubishi, not only us, we Japanese companies are more than happy to provide our experiences and technologies to support.
Yeah, well, Inoue-san, thank you very much. And I would like to ask Hiyama-san the quite similar question.
Yes.
Yeah, because you have been focusing on the Thailand, and considering the situation of Thailand, well, which basically is quite eager to promote the circular economy as well as the kind of sufficient economy. How do you see the situation of Thailand in terms of the social acceptance towards the recycling? And also, if you see some shortcomings, how do you think you can address them?
Okay. Good question. I'm doing the recycling business in Thailand, and then for e-waste, now there is a lot of informal sector there. Also illegal disposal also there. Then using a chemical, and then it's a very dangerous situation for the health or environment. Then we need to develop and then need to set up a regulation or law for e-waste or other materials. Then how do I say? the customers or customers our side or manufacturers requirements is they want to recycling or material recycling. So that is from the regulation for EU. Our many customers, automotive companies, they need using recycling metals or materials, then product then export to overseas, such as the EU. So our function is inspection is more and more. And then also we have to develop our recycling technologies, and then also need a partner who want to collect the things. Collect things means not legally, and then need a more compliance. Yes, that's all. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Hiyama-san. And it's actually quite interesting point because of the regulation in EU, actually Thai government really needs, Thai businesses really need to think how they are able to adapt to the regulation in EU so that they can export the products. And that's another way to provide some stimulation to the ASEAN governments or any governments or countries who have the exposure to the international supply chain to work on the recycling. And finally, I would like to ask Datu Nigel for your views on the, it's great that the Malaysian government is now working hard to develop the new regulation on the e-waste from the consumer side. And obviously you are in the government committee to work on this specific issue. And what is your view on the kind of biggest challenge for the Malaysian government to really develop and design the very relevant e-waste recycling policy and also implement it? Implementation of recycling policy is always very challenging, but how do you see the future of Malaysian's recycling policy on e-waste?
Malaysia government target to implement the policy by 2024. I think if this new policy in play, we are able to concentrate more to handle all these e-waste, and then to be handled properly and to lessen the landfill. Okay.
I see. Right. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, well, I really hope that the Malaysian government is actually one of the strongest government and the most capable one among the ASEAN member states. And without the successful outcome of the Malaysian government, it's very difficult for other ASEAN member states to really develop the good cases. So that I think it's important for Malaysia to set up the leading case for the other ASEAN countries to be able to learn from. And also, finally, I would like to ask Kamitatara-san to provide your view on how Japanese government is able to shape its policy to support the recycling business and recycling policy of ASEAN to be designed and implemented in a very effective manner.
Okay. Thank you, Kobayashi-san. So I listened very carefully to other panelists mentioned, but some panelists mentioned that there are some informal sectors in some of the ASEAN countries. So it's very important to establish the household equipment law to collect and recycle some e-waste. That's why there are a lot of refineries, smelters in Japan, like not only the Mitsubishi Material, but also JX Metal, and Dowa, as Mr. Iwasaki mentioned at his presentation. But we need to collaborate between the public and the private sectors to promote e-waste recycling more and more. That's why we have already launched the ASEAN-Japan Circular Economy Initiative, but we need to work together to promote e-waste recycling between ASEAN and Japan. And then, I hope that the Mitsubishi Material mentioned, they have already been doing some capacity building project to some of the ASEAN countries, but this trend will be expanded to cooperation between ASEAN and Japan more and more, and I look forward to see more concrete projects as business-to-business collaboration, such as the establishment of joint ventures. Yeah, that's my point. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We still have a little bit more time. So before I provide the closing, I would like to ask one more question to respective panelists. The same question to the three panelists from the private sectors. Basically, my question is, what do you think about the what do you think about the Japanese government's policy towards the ASEAN recycling? And if you have any suggestions about any suggestion to the Japanese government, what you think the Japanese government should support the ASEAN governments? Either of the country in ASEAN is fine, or ASEAN as a whole is also fine. What do you think the Japanese government needs to support the ASEAN member states to work on, to really design the healthy and the prosperous the recycling business in this region? So perhaps I should start from the Dato or Nigel.
Okay, Japanese government actually is very helpful in helping us to introduce a lot of new company to us, recycling company in Japan, so that we can look forward to have a look at their technologies and then sharing information. So I see that's a very helpful from our Japanese government side. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
So next, Hiyama-san.
Yes, we need more technology or equipment from the e-waste. The e-waste is now it's very difficult to dismantling or separation. So we have machines, but it's old type. So we need renewal or machines. Then also push for the government for establish the law or regulation, more push. Yes. So 2 point, equipment and then law. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Hiyama-san. And Inoue-san, please.
Yeah, I hope the Japanese government will have a more close contact with each single country's government to promote the regulations to push forward the recycling society and value chain in between Japan and the ASEAN area. However, having said so, why you say ASEAN, but each nation country will have its own national interest. So there must be some conflict here and there. And of course, Japan has its own national interest. So please coordinate amicably, not mutually. And also keep the, I myself Japanese, so please stand strongly as a Japanese government to keep the national government interest.
Well, thank you very much. So Kamitataro-san, having listening to the suggestions from the respective speakers, could you provide your views on how you are able to respond to them and design the future ASEAN-Japan cooperation program?
Okay. Thank you for your suggestion from other panelists. Yeah, I realize that I would like to reiterate the importance of establishment of the household equipment for the recycling waste more and more. But in Japan, so in collaboration with the Ministry of the Environment, so we have already introduced such a law to recycle e-waste. But in ASEAN countries, mainly the Ministry of Environment or Department of Environment is mainly in charge of such e-waste recycling. That's why so not only METI, but also in collaboration with the Ministry of Environment Japan. So we would like to work together and to ask the ASEAN government, not only the Ministry of Environment, but also the Ministry of Industry and the Ministry of Industry Waste. So we would like to promote such establishment of the e-waste recycling and promote capacity building, not only the private sectors, but also the public sectors, yeah, in collaboration with Ministry of Environment. Yeah, thank you for your suggestion.
Well, thank you very much. And perhaps then, listening to your opinions and views, I think it's quite plausible that we will have very good cooperation programs in the future. And then let me actually provide my views and also understanding about the opinions from the respective speakers. Well, basically the Japanese government has been engaged in the capacity building activities to promote resource recycling in ASEAN for several years. And then actually, we also dispatched the various Japanese engineers and also invited the experts of the ASEAN side to come to Japan and do the site visits of the local facilities, and also provided the opportunities for them to run the Japanese system of recycling. So I think these Japanese government's programs have been in line with your suggested activities of the ASEAN, of the Japanese government to support ASEAN's recycling policy development. So I think it's important for us to continue and even strengthening these type of activities. And also, the Japanese government has also supported some demonstration projects. I think Hiyama-san mentioned about it. We did it in Thailand, we did it in Malaysia. So these demonstration projects actually include some equipment and facility development. Sometimes the Japanese government cannot cover whole expense. Sometimes it can cover whole. But these type of the demonstration seems to be quite important because it actually involves lots of communication with the local governments and also the governments of ASEAN member states, which actually creates lots of opportunities for us to really inform them how we think the recycling businesses and recycling opportunities and what is the role of the governments. And on the other hand, in order for the ASEAN countries to really promote recycling, especially the resource recycling, it is very important for respective countries to develop the legal framework and also the system to continuously promote the recycling in their own societies. And the situation of ASEAN member states are quite diverse. They have 10 member states, and 10 countries are so different. And also, even inside the 10 countries, there are lots of different situations, region by region, area by area. So I think it's important to really come up with the very, very tailor-made style approach towards individual countries and sometimes individual regions to develop the really good and workable policy programs. I just came back from the COP28 conducted in Dubai. And basically what Japanese government has been insisting in the COP28 is that, well, single goal, one goal, and different pathways. So we really need to think that we need to promote and we need to have a very good recycling system, but there are various pathways to aim for it. And respective countries and respective governments are in charge of designing them so that the Japanese government probably have to communicate one by one, respecting their own way of approaching the recycling and provide the relevant support programs. Of course, the Japanese government cannot do everything, but perhaps provide some support for these respective governments to move forward. And we also think that the intergovernmental coordination inside ASEAN is quite important, and perhaps adding Japan to that intergovernmental coordination inside ASEAN would be quite beneficial. Perhaps we need to ask organizations like the ASEAN Secretariat and also area to really coordinate those kind of interactivities. And by doing so, I think we can develop the well, we already have the very good cooperation, but we can actually further expand and make the cooperation effective. So thank you very much, and I really look forward to further development and expansion of ASEAN-Japan circular economic cooperation in the future. And finally, I really would like to thank all of you to stay until the end of the panel. This is the morning of the Saturday, so that it's actually quite challenging to come and listening to the various presentations and discussions. I really would like to appreciate your intellectual curiosity and your interest in the ASEAN-Japan relationship. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kobayashi-san, and all the panelists. Thank you very much. ありがとうございました。